Well, I actually saw you back in the day on several occasions. Last time I saw you, it's probably been 10 years now, but it was when you were touring with Joey Belladonna.
I remember some of the gigs, dude. It was so much fun playing for him. He's crazy.
Yeah, I think it might have been Cincinnati and Columbus. I can't remember either. It's easily been a decade, so
Nah, dude, I get you. I get you.
yeah.
But nice seeing you. Nice talking to you again.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I've been listening. I've been listening to the new album. Pretty much, I talked them in, and they were just going to give me the single, and I talked them into they gave me the whole album digitally, so I could stream it and listen to it over and over, so I could absorb it because I like to be able to absorb the whole album before I speak to the artist. So I,
Oh wow, dude, you actually got the whole. You're the first guy that got the whole album. Everybody's got like their first single, and they're like, and it's kind of hard to talk to somebody that not hard, but it's like you like to kind of tell me about this song. It's kind of hard to tell you about the song if you haven't heard it. It's kind of weird.
yeah, no, I've definitely heard the album at least a dozen times, and I've absorbed it, so I definitely know the songs really well.
That's awesome.
So that is cool. Yeah, I maybe like I said, I think Chip knows he likes working with me. He's worked with me for the last 18 years. I think he knows that that's how I like to work. I like to have some sense of knowledge and just not one song or one single or anything like that. So I think he
No,
also
that's
it,
killer.
it was funny too because they advertised you as being in Sabotage and Lizzie Borden. I'm like, he never recorded with those bands. What about Seven Witches?
Yeah. Well, I guess they look at like those big. They were pretty big tours. Like the Sabotage was huge tours.
Right, right, right. When you played live with them, exactly. Right.
It's weird though. Even Witches, like we did some like in Europe, and yeah. I mean, I guess they go for like the names more than You know how it is.
Yeah, I figured that's what it was. And the more ignorant press who don't really know heavy metal and hard rock underground probably as well. So
Yeah, it's like who's Seven Witches.
yeah.
It's like,
Well, I do want to after we talk about Sunset and Clark, I do want to talk a little bit about Seven Witches.
no
So
problem.
so all right. So the album is called Sunset and Clark, and you look at the artwork. I'm guessing that's because that's the address of the Whiskey a Go Go.
It sure is, man. It was definitely the whole concept. Like when we were talking about it, I was talking to the art guy. I'm like, it's got to have that old school '80s kind of vibe and fun, and that's exactly it, man. That's the corner of the whiskey right there.
Right. And you definitely got some 80s icons. I mean, you got Keith St. John, singing on The Bitch is Crazy. And what songs is Paul, I'm going to guess before you tell me, with Paul Shortino, does he sing on Ties That Bind and My Heart Knows?
No,
Damn it. I've been trying to listen for his vocals to figure out which songs. What does he sing on?
my heart knows. Very kind of Zeppelin kind of thing.
Yeah, he doesn't sound like a rough cut type vocal vibe at all.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's very funny you say that. Like, and he's one of the reasons I picked him because I just love that melody. That "Stay with me," that's and he did it a different direction, and I was blown away because he's got a very kind of a plant kind of like it's like almost behind the beat, dude. It was cool. That's why I was so blown away. Like, dude, this is great. The other song that's Todd from Roxy Blue.
Okay.
Got that raspy kind of, you know. He's great, dude. What a great guy too.
That's cool. Well, your single that you released right now for Last to Know has Andrew Freeman from Last in Line, who's also in an all-star lineup band. How did you hook up with Andrew Freeman? It's something you've been wanting to do for a while?
Dude, we've been friends since we were kids. He's an East Coast guy. We've always joked around because we played the Nam Jams together. We
Okay,
played
Nam Jam, that makes sense.
the road show together. So me and Andrew, honestly, man, I've seen Andrew in Hurricane. I've seen
Right,
Andrew.
Hurricane for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's come out to see me a million times, and we always kid around. One day, and dude, I just love Andrew's voice. He's such a great, powerful singer, and he just brought so much melody and his lyrics, and he's just great, man. He's just great, and we just had the best time working together, and it was just like all these guys, man. They're just all my friends, and and you'll probably ask me this. There was no drama whatsoever. Not one rock star is in this band. No one acts that way towards each other, and like, I think we're all fans of each other's work. So yeah, I love working with Andrew, and the video's cool, and
Definitely.
he's just badass, dude.
And you got Carl Wilcox from Diamond Head to do drums. That's interesting too.
You know what? And a lot of people ask me that. They're like, why would you get a metal guy for like a more of a Montrose Van Halen rock record.
They,
Because a lot of people don't realize, Carl's, of course, from the UK.
right.
Dude, he grew up with, he's a John Bonham, Cozy Powell guy.
Cozy
He's
Powell
from
for sure.
And if you listen to him, dude, man, that guy can swing, man. He just, and we're just, you know, we just started to go back and forth, dude. And he's one of my favorite drummers now. He's such a easy guy to work with. And he's another one I would send songs to with some drum machines. And then he'd come back and change it. And I'm like, you know what? What a waste of time for him is me sending him drum machines when I just call him up and say, hey, I'm looking for, I don't know, Dreams in the Dark from Badlands kind of a feel.
Right.
Okay. You know, I want Houses of the Holy. Great. And that's the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't realize that dude's like one of the grandfathers of, you know, that UK drumming, you know?
Well, and also Diamond Head, not every single album is thrash. Some of the later albums definitely have that, you know, when they had the second vocalist, they definitely went with that Zeppelin type vibe, so.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, even the new stuff, I mean, Brian's such a great songwriter. But if you really listen to it, it's really rock and roll, dude.
Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love the last few Diamond Heads big time. And I've seen them live the last couple, well, before COVID, several times. And, you know, definitely it's good stuff. So okay, so Friday you're going to release the new single for The Bitch Is Crazy, which I think is probably a great opener. I mean, good lyrics. Do the different artists write the lyrics and you just write the music?
Dude, I write some of the music, and I send it to them, and we rearrange everything.
Okay, rearrange. Okay.
Everyone's a writer on this record. I don't tell the singers. I'll say this straight out: all the lyrics, all the melody lines, all the hooks, it's all them.
That's what I figured.
Vocals.
Okay.
And that's the way we wanted it to be. I wanted them to be. Why I picked Todd, why I picked Andrew, is because I love what they do, and that's what I want them to do. So with Bitch Is Crazy, Keith, I would say, was a little more involved on these songs. Like, he's a great producer and arranger, so Keith definitely was a lot more involved. And yeah, dude, it's a badass opening track. And Keith produced the video, he edited it and put it all together. If you love Cherry Pie meets David Lee Roth, the Steve Vai era meets Hot for Teacher, we went for it.
That's
You're going to
awesome.
lose your shit laughing, and there's a hot chick sucking on a lollipop and a strawberry, and we're on Harleys. You'll see. It's a fun video.
And that comes out Friday, right?
Yep, comes out Friday at 10 a.m. on Brave Words and Bloody Knuckles.
Cool, awesome. I'll definitely check that out for sure.
There's a very cool, dude, Keith is such a wonderful and talented human being. Like, every guy wrote a little bit about what it was like making the record and stuff. And Keith wrote this one that really, like, hit me. Like, he's just such a dear guy. And, like, what he said about me as a person and how we just connected. It's crazy. You got to see the little thing that he wrote. He's so passionate, dude. And it comes across in the way he sings. It's killer, man. And, you know, again, we kind of push the envelope, you know. God forbid if you say a bitch is crazy or girls are sexy. You're not allowed to say that anymore these days. You know what? Screw that, man. That's where we come from.
Exactly.
And, we're not downgrading women. It's just fun, dude. It was just fun.
Elton John had a song called The Bitch, so come on. The bitch is back.
Let's get crazy, dude. Some chicks are fucking crazy.
Absolutely. Some hot chicks are definitely batshit crazy. No doubt about it. That's dude, honest.
Watch the video. You will text me and say, oh my God, dude, you're out of your mind. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah. No, especially if it's got the Hot for Teacher and if it's like Love is for Suckers, Twisted Sister cover. That's great.
Oh, yeah, dude. It definitely has all that.
That's what it should. I mean, there's nothing wrong with bringing back the essence of the 80s as far as the sleaze and as far as some of that, because it's always going to be there. I mean, when you put on the radio, you're still going to hear, like you said, you mentioned Warrant. I mean, you're going to hear those songs, so they're always going to be there and they're always going to be part of the milieu. So, you know, why deny it? It's not, even with the Me Too movement, it's not exactly being misogynistic to say the bitch is crazy. You know, it's the way it is. So
you know, man, it's I think so many people are trying to be politically correct, and you know, the world has been the last 18 months.
Well, yeah.
I think everybody needs some fun in their lives.
Exactly.
Everybody gets off, and that's what we kind of did, man. We we literally had fun. And if people, well, music's not supposed to be fun. Well, then whatever. I mean, to me, like you said, Warrant, like you're those songs are timeless.
Yeah,
Rap,
exactly. Motley Crue, come on.
I mean, dude, girls, girls, girls.
Right.
I mean, even like
Aerosmith, Love in an Elevator.
I, yeah, I mean, but see, didn't you like watch those videos and just have a great time? Smiling?
Absolutely. I thrived on those 80s videos, and I will watch them on YouTube again and again and again just because they bring back such a nostalgic value. Like, oh, yeah, look at that. That was so tongue in cheek, and that was so funny. And then the thrash bands always made fun of it. So it was a good blend of both. So now, since I've heard the whole album in its entirety, I would say I love the way it begins, especially with, Bitch is Crazy and Last to Know and The City Never Sleeps. But like you said, it definitely takes a more bluesy, more like soul type vibe by the time it gets to the middle, especially with Long Way from Love and My Heart Knows. So you in the press you talk about Badlands as an influence, and obviously how that album with Jakey Lee, and it made such a difference because once again Jakey Lee was coming straight out of Ozzy, and even yeah, I'm having a thing here for the vocalist, but even the vocalist had auditioned for Sabbath at the time.
You mean the greatest of all times, Ray Gillen?
Yeah, Ray Gillen. He'd actually auditioned for Sabbath,
And he
before.
actually in Sabbath for a tour, and there is a record out now. They reissued it.
Yeah, yeah, I got it for.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
day.
So I actually heard that years ago when I first got into Sabotage. Paul O'Neill let me hear it because he was,
Right, of course, yeah, because John Oliva was almost in Sabbath for a while too. So.
Yep, yep, yep. And Chris was almost in Testament. It was
Yeah,
weird,
yeah, I know. So, but so like you said, you guys, it's a collaboration as far as how you wrote the music and how you work with the different artists and send them the different demos and everything like that. But were you guys basically going for that mid '80s structural vibe that bands like Badlands or some Warrior Soul or some of those other bands just created a different sound that obviously wasn't glam, but they were coming from musicians who were in bigger bands at the time. Uh, Even let's see, Don Dawkins. God, I'm just killing my names here. George Lynch's Lynch Mob,
and
or
Don solo record is
I
so
was gonna say
great.
Don Dawkins solo record with all those greatest hits. Even Contraband and all the artists
Oh,
that.
that was great with Shanker and
Oh God, yeah,
Tracy.
and what's her name from Vixen? Oh my God, yeah. So,
We kind of went for the debut record from Montrose.
oh, Davey from Montrose. Okay, Sammy Hagar. Okay,
Yeah, I'm a huge Montrose freak.
R.I.P.
So we kind of went for that rawness of the guitars that Ronnie had, and like the early Y&T. And then we
Yeah,
tried,
definitely Y&T, of course.
yeah. So if you listen to it, it's got a little bit of that. It's
Earthshaker for
definitely got
sure.
some of the, it definitely has some Dokken Lynch Mob influences in there too. I think some of my solos, I hear a little bit of George in me because I just love how he writes the solo where it is a story when he plays, and of course like there's that Jakey Lee blues feel. So we tried to take the 70s, the 80s, and not so much the 90s. We really tried to take you back to that strip feel.
Right, right.
But, I mean, like, dude, honestly, Warren DeMartini, his guitar riffs were just like
I
ridiculous.
agree. I agree. Those first three Rat albums are, oh my God, wow.
Yeah, they're great, and they're really blues based if you really think about it. And you know what, dude? At the end of the day, no one's really had the balls to kind of make a Van Halen style record where it's an in your face. The guitars are less processed. Every verse you can hear a little different nuances in the guitars. That's what we went for. Like, that's really what we went for.
That's interesting you mentioned Dave Metachetti because I didn't even think about, not even just yesterday and today, but like you say, Earthshaker and oh my God, I totally hear the Y&T vibes now. I've listened to this album several times. I wasn't even thinking early Y&T because, God, talk about Bay Area rock that became like definitive metal of the early 80s, Y&T, and
Dude,
still
even
killing.
even when they came a little more commercial, like Black Tiger and Mean
Well,
Street
yeah,
Records.
Summertime Girls and stuff like that, right?
Dude, I even love Contagious. I think that's
I do too. I do too. A lot of people think that's a really popular album too, Whitesnakey, but I think Contagious rules. But I love early Whitesnake too. So
So still going at 6 to 70. So, must be doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and they're still going, and Y&T still kick ass. Right before COVID, they played a show. So, and they play like for 3 hours. Dave Medichetti's a trooper, man. All
He's
right,
such
so now that we're done talking to Brothers in Arms, I do want to switch gears just a little bit.
okay.
I do want to. I interviewed James Rivera for his Hellstar and what he's doing with Hellstar back in February for Clad in Black, and he mentioned that you guys were working on a new Seven Witches album that was supposed to be out in September of 2021, but COVID. So what's the process with that? Or the
80%, 80%. Is that great? 80%,
I
80%
can't
of
talk
the
either.
record is done.
Okay.
It's killer. And I hate to say that because musicians, artists should never say something they did is killer because people go, oh yeah. But honestly, it's really a take back to the Passage era.
That's what he said. That's what he said. And Year of the Witch and
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
it's very in your face, very aggressive, not thrashy, more just. I gotta say, it's got a little bit more of a groove, a little bit more like balls to the walls. And James's voice is on fire right now, dude. He's on fire. We just came back from Belgium. We just did the Alcatraz Festival.
Oh, you played Alcatraz with him. Okay.
Yeah, so we were the only U.S. band to play there.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it was killer, dude. They gave us like a 4:30, 5 o'clock slot, main stage. People were going nuts. Wade Black, our old singer from the Exile record, came up and sang Metal Tyrant with us. He was there.
Wow.
It was really cool. I don't know, man. You're definitely going to be like, wow, this is really, more of that Judas Priest Painkiller vibe.
Okay.
And I got to say it again, dude. James is just on fire right now.
Well, I've always loved everything you've done with Seven Witches, whether it was Bobby Leatherlung Lucas for the debut and the second album, or obviously working with Alan Tecchio. I mean, I've always defined you by your Seven Witches albums and what vocalist and what lineup you get to do that. So when you guys played Alcatraz, it was with James Rivera. It was that lineup.
Yeah, but like we couldn't take our drummer and bass player just for COVID and everything.
Right. Okay.
So, we used Alex, our bass player from Brothers in Arms.
Okay.
He played. And we use this young drummer named H. He's in a band called SOS with his brothers.
Okay.
Dude, this kid is he's like a mini Scott Travis. Just killed it.
Wow.
So I went up there for like 3 days and rehearsed with them in Germany. And then we met up with James in Belgium. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was like, we didn't, I think we're playing sounding better than we ever did before. And I really think people are going to be like, the name of the record's going to be called Back from the Other Side.
Back to the Other Side, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the title track songs. And, we have one cover on there. We're doing a UFO song. We won't say what it is yet.
That's cool. Shanker rules.
Cool. It's like, it's kind of different. You know what I mean?
Well, that's good. Tribute to the fallen artists from UFO, since so many have died. But no, that's great. And was Wade Black there with his new band on Frontiers? How was he happen to be there?
Him and his wife were on vacation.
Oh, okay.
He actually reached out to us and said, I'm going to be at Alcatraz. And he's like, we're like, dude, you should come up and sing a song with us. So it was really cool, man. And James is such a class act. He's just like, James could have been like, well, I'm the singer, blah, blah, blah.
Nah.
And anything like that. He's like, come on, let's have him come up. It'll be cool. So I think the fans really like that too. I think they see that I'm not the type of guy, if you were in my band at one time and then you're not in my band, I don't hold grudges.
Right.
Life is too short, man. And it was cool, man. I think it was actually really cool for the fans too,
Now, Alcatraz released like entire concert footage for so many bands that played. Like, do you guys have that footage on YouTube?
It's all on their site, the whole
I will
show.
definitely check it out. That's awesome.
Yeah, cool, man.
So, and then the other thing, you played on the second album, which I think is their best, for Metallium, for Chapter 2, State of Triumph. With the death of Lars Ratz, and they just did a tribute to him, the band members just did a tribute with Never Surrender. What were your thoughts when you found out Lars tragically died?
Very sad to me, man, because I have to say, a lot of people don't know this. Lars was my first real chance to go to Europe and tour.
Right.
And he took me under his wing. He brought me over there. He really loved me as a person, and he was really good to me, and he helped me out a lot with my music. But I didn't know about publishing stuff. He helped me out. And when I got the Sabotage gig, you know, it was hard to leave those guys because I was in the band for like four years.
Right.
And I lived in Hamburg for a while. I lived with Mark, the drummer, and Henning and Matthias. You know, we were just really close. And it kind of hit me pretty hard, man, because, you know, we had our fault. You know, we had our moments where we kind of stopped talking to each other a little bit, but it was never like a hatred thing or anything. It was more like we just stopped working together. And, yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's just,
Yeah, I didn't mean to bring up emotions.
And you're awesome, dude. I mean, people should know, you know, Lars was a great guy, and he had a vision, man, and boy, that vision was amazing. And it's very sad to see, you know, he has kids, and I mean, I heard too, his wife just passed away too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
It's yeah, and she was man. So, you know, all I can say to people is, you know, raise their horns. He's a great guy, and I know he's looking down at me right now going, Frost, come on, get out there and jam, you fucker.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, with Chris Caffrey being on the debut and you being on the second album, and with Metallium introduced me to so many European artists, I actually didn't even know about Ken Hensley from Uriah Heep until Metallium had him in the band as a guest keyboard solo. I'm like, because you know there wasn't the internet back in the '90s and stuff that
Right.
helped you learn about that. So you're right, he was so instrumental in helping us Americans learn about so much European culture as far as great, you know, bands that, you know, I maybe only knew about like 2 or 3 Uriah Heep songs before I discovered Metallium and what he did. And
Right.
so,
Crazy.
have you heard the Never Surrender tribute song?
Of course, yeah, I did. I've
I
heard it
figured
right
you.
away.
I was surprised. Were you asked to play on that or?
I think they kind of did it, um, like really quick to do it.
Right. I think that's what I figured. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if they asked me, I sure would have. And who
Right.
knows what's going to happen? Maybe we'll do a tribute someday to Lars, and I'll definitely be there anytime if they need me.
Yeah, and that's so cool. You don't hold grudges because you have worked with so many great musicians. You say your favorite vocalist is Ray Gillen. Well, one of my favorite vocalists is Alan Tecchio. So I
Oh,
mean, it's just different range, different. I mean, obviously, you know, Bruce Dickinson, Ronnie James Dio, you know, Ozzy for the first 3 albums, but and Sabbath for sure. But I mean, yeah, when you talk about like underground metal or just East Coast metal or something like that, even Bobby Blitz. But yeah, I mean Alan Tecchio, and I just love how he's worked with so many different artists and done so many wonderful things. So
dude, I
it's
have to say, I'm such a big fan of the nonfiction records.
the
Like,
nonfiction.
I love nonfiction, and honestly, I got the luxury of playing. I filled in for Dan Lorenzo on 2 Hades shows like 5-6 years ago, and I went to Europe with them and played
Wow,
all the Hades songs with Alan. It was crazy cool.
that's awesome. You got to play with. I didn't know you did Hades material. That's
Yep.
cool.
I did 2 shows. It was amazing.
Oh yeah, the early Hades material rules too. I love all
Right.
Hades. I love all Hades. But yeah, nonfiction was so different at the time when Dan and Alan did with the nonfiction stuff too. So yeah, you've definitely had your finger in many pies and worked with so many great artists both in the U.S. and Europe. So that's so cool. And now you've got the Brothers in Arms where you're bringing back that '80s vibe. You know, I think it's cool what the Dead Daisies have done for the last 5 years and how they've been able to get so many, you know, celebrated artists. And then when I first heard Sunset and Clark, the first thing I thought of is like, oh, this is like Dead Daisies. This is like him bringing all these great musicians and all these artists who were so underground in the '80s, but still were so important to the bands they were in, whether
Oh
it be
yeah.
Carl Wilcox and Diamond Head or Keith and, you know, Kingdom Come, you know, and even what Andrew Freeman's done with Last in Line.
Honestly, this would be an awesome tour because I'm really close with Doug. Me and Doug are dear brothers. I mean, you got the voice of rock singing there. Can you imagine Brothers and Daisies going out together? Now that would be a fun show.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, my friend just saw Daisies a couple months ago, and even during COVID, they packed in quite a crowd. Obviously,
Oh yeah.
Glenn Hughes makes a difference, but
You want to hear something really cool? But 12:30 last night, Doug texted me from, I guess Don Jameson played some of the brother stuff,
right.
and he called me and texted me and said, "I love the single with Andrew. I love your playing on it, dude. You sound amazing." This is from Doug.
Aldridge.
You know how nice it is from a guy like that just reaching out to me? It blew my mind, dude. That's the type of person Doug is. He is an angel.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it was pretty cool. It kind of blew my mind a little bit.
So.
Cool.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Brother.
All right, bye.
All right.